I'm sure you have a lot of really interesting use cases for this. You know, one of the delightful things about building a product like this is just seeing how customers use it. So, what are some of the cool things that you've seen built with Modal?
Yeah, totally. It's funny you're asking it because like actually for the first year and a half, like we did not have like a particular use case in mind. Like we were just building this thinking like we're building a Kubernetes for data teams that's cloud native, right? And like I always had a high conviction that like this makes sense, but I didn't really know like what's the killer app or like what's the main use case. And it wasn't until last summer that we started realizing like there's a lot of cool stuff happening in Gen AI, and we have a lot of the primitives that would really be valuable for that audience. Like we had GPU support, serverless, fast boot up, and so that's really where we've been seeing a lot of traction. So it tends to be a lot of the things that we see since then has been like stable diffusion, like some people generating lots of images, like basically like prompt to image generation. It's been a big use case. Stream booth, control net. We also seen a fair amount of like text to speech, speech to text. We've seen some people generating music on Modal. We've also seen a couple of people doing 3D rendering on Modal, which is kind of unexpected. I think it's funny because like you're like, oh wait, you can use like GPUs for rendering 3D, and they're like, wait a minute, like that's actually like you kind of forget that's what GPUs originally built for it. But yeah, so people use there's a bunch of people using Modal for like rendering 3D images. And then we have like a couple of people doing things completely outside of AI, right? Like doing like computational biotech, like AlphaFold or like sequence alignment, that kind of stuff. Web scraping, video transcoding, like stuff like just like batch running, like FFmpeg. There's kind of a wide range of stuff that people are using it for.
Yeah, it must have been very nice when you're like, oh wow, AI, like it just popped onto the scene and kind of just like made for the perfect use case.
Totally. Yeah, and I think in hindsight, like what I think is clear now is like, a year ago or so, like we built this thing we felt was like much better than Kubernetes. But I don't think it was like fundamentally like good enough for people to really like feel like, oh, I'm gonna switch. It's not quite worth the switching cost. But when all this like AI stuff started happening, then I thought it was very clear that like, traditional infrastructure breaks in a big enough way where like there's now suddenly a very clear reason to switch to something new, right? And that's where we felt like we've positioned ourselves really well. But like my goal, to be clear, is not to like, be like an AI company, right? Like I love this AI stuff. I always been, working on AI stuff my whole, most of my career. But I think there's so much other stuff, right? Like there's so much other non-AI stuff. There's so much like compute intensive stuff completely outside of AI that's also like super exciting. And we want to support those things too.
Yeah, I think especially now with as much excitement and intention as there is, one of the really interesting sort of value props here is just lowering the overall barrier of entry, right? Because there's a lot of people who want to experiment, who want to like put out products, and in a traditional sort of infrastructural setup, you've got a lot of engineering investment, as you've already pointed out, just in getting started and setting this stuff up. And it's generally like mature organizations who are doing it. And, having somebody, a person or a small group of engineers who can get together and then on a weekend hack together like a proof of concept of a product because they have a fast food feedback loop, like you said, because it's like, infrastructure on demand, all of these things, really good UX, that is huge in just enabling people to build products. So I think that's incredibly exciting.
Totally. And it's not just necessarily like lowering the barrier. Like I think that's like one side of the spectrum, right? Like you definitely want to like make it easier for people to do this. But I never wanted to build what I've been like jokingly referring to like Kubernetes for kids, like a kind of a simpler version of Kubernetes. Because I think it's really important also that you're building something that also like advanced users want to use too, right? And like for instance, like I think about myself, right? Like I understand AWS really well. Like I understand Docker, Terraform, like all these tools, right? Like I've been using it for like 15 plus years. But like even to me, like gets in the way of like delivering value. Like I want to write code. Like I don't want to write YAML. I want to write code and like build cool applications and ship them, right? So to me, like the like the best tools has always been the tools that sort of appeal to both sides of the spectrum. Both the people are like starting to dabble with something new and like and then they're like, oh, this is really easy to get started with. But also the people that are really into like have all this deep expertise and they're like, this is like getting in the way of like me like doing stuff. Like I just want to like do stuff, right? So that to me is like, you know, it's design. Like that's a tool I always wanted to build. It's like, you know, you appeal to a very wide range of users.
For sure. I mean, I feel like this goes back to, it's all really related to the same thing. It's the layers of abstraction just introduce a lot of incidental complexity. It's like we don't intend to spend all of our time, you know, tuning Kubernetes, but we end up doing it because we have to do it to get, you know, whatever we want deployed. And yeah, so definitely experts or beginners or whatever. It's just like if you don't have to deal with, you know, a bunch of configuration or whatever, it just helps you move faster.
Absolutely. Yep.